pretty good.
Alrighty, well, let's get her going. A little Monday morning NARCh podcast. A little swig of water. Let's get back on the rink. All right, welcome back to the RDN Roller Show. We got a little morning coffee for you. A little talk here about NARCh over the weekend. So we're gonna do another podcast too. Before we get into the pros and everything. This is just like what's happened over the past weekend. But before we get into that, got Anth Merrigan on the East Coast as always. How's it going? What's going on at NERC? What's going on in your life? How's the
Well,
kid?
kid's doing great actually. He's growing. Everyone says, and even Dwyer told me he's like, dude, it goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. And then like he went from this like little peanut to like a watermelon. You know what I mean? Just like like he's getting so big. Like my left arm is going to be jacked by the time State Wars comes around. I'll tell you that. But he's doing good. We were talking before about like kind of just the power of like the roller dad thing. Had someone kind of connect with me for my NERC rink and like through roller dad, kind of like they saw
The
a
free
post
agent
about it.
stuff?
Yeah, kind of like a free agent, but like I guess she just saw a post, saw that NERC was a rink in her area that she didn't know about. Did a little Google search, boom, got a new free agent goaltender, Savannah Gutierrez. So shout out to her finding her
That's
way into
sick.
the NERC league, added her to our goalie chat. They're all like pumped up and stuff. She has a sick little hockey background, played like Utica. So just goes to show you the power of roller dad. And
Hey man.
it's funny. We're doing
I
a little
think we got to start like now the next phase, and rinks listening to this, the next phase of that is, we're gonna have to be an affiliate with these rinks. So now we can just set them up
100%.
directly with that stuff. Cause that's like, I mean, you see,
There's
I
so
was
many
just gonna say
people.
something. I get messages or not messages, we get entries, to this day about playing D1 or men's silver at NARCh and it's over. So they're
Yeah,
seeing it and they're like, dude, this is sick, and they're still like entering. And unfortunately, that tournament's over, but
right.
maybe in the winter they're going to want to play it because they do live in California. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I
power of
mean,
roller.
I think what's cool about roller is that you see a lot of guys who are like, once they're done their ice stuff, like ice career, or like just done playing ice hockey, they can find roller as like another outlet. And that's what I'm getting a lot of is like these guys who are like, I just started playing roller. I want to get into it. So I think it's a home run for rinks. I mean, especially for my rink, like what it's done. Like I give just even the roller dad stickers I give out to all the boys, like they love it, you know.
Gotta love it.
So it's yeah, definitely power roller dad for sure.
There
So
we go. All right, well, we're gonna get into some NARCh talk. Before we get into NARCh talk, got a big sponsor of the pod and like the NARCh, NARCh content. What we're gonna do. I think everybody knows this guy, but I don't think they really know, what he does for a living. But we're gonna give a huge shout out and a huge appreciation to CRP Marketing. That's Charlie Robinson, goaltender for the Skittles. He runs his own little marketing agency, which is pretty cool. It's a one-stop shop, anything advertising and marketing. They've done a lot of the Conics stuff and a lot of other hockey videos, but it's super sick. They specialize in lead generation for service-based business and e-commerce growth through digital advertising. So I know there's a lot of like, small business owners or just people looking for their marketing to, get elevated. That's why we're in contact with Charlie. He can definitely help you out with that. And they work with over 200 clients on a monthly basis in many different industries. So the dude knows what he's doing. So
he's
definitely,
he's so smart, bro.
dude,
He's
so smart. And he's a great guy. He'll talk to you. And, if you see him at a tournament, go up to him, he'll talk to you. But you can reach him out at crpmarketing.com. They also do have Instagram too, where you can follow them there and on their various social media sites. But definitely, if you're interested in that stuff, check it out.
stick tap for the ad read too,
There
bro.
we go. There we go. All right, let's,
You're the ad read guy for
yeah.
sure.
NARCh, dude, I think one of the biggest things, and we wrote this blog about the men's silver, and I will say the adult men's is the heartbeat of all tournaments. You have so many teams that enter in these, and 43 teams in men's silver alone. So men's silver started out with 43, and then it broke down into three different playoffs, which you had silver, obviously being the top one, bronze, and then copper. One thing I kind of want to, go over, which I thought was pretty insane, is out of the 43 teams, four teams went 4-0. Eight teams were with zero losses. And then there's 21 teams. It's basically almost half the teams with one loss or, a zero loss or ties, which
It's wild because that puts you in a bronze, copper, or silver, right? Like,
Yeah. So like looking at this, which I thought was like hilarious. I got to give a shout out to some of the boys from Colorado, Colorado Scooby Snacks. They had three mercies. They lost their last game to Palma, 4-0. And it was like kind of goes to show you like out of those teams, it really just depends who you're
one
trying to.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
literally one game changes your whole outlook. Like that moves you from a whole, not just a seeding, a whole division,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So the top 10 teams made it to the silver, and the Thought Dogs were the 10th team, and they were 3-1. Like, dude, you're 3-1, and
That's a good
you're
tourney. Like you
yeah,
should
and
be
you're
stoked.
yeah, and the 10th seed. So sorry, talking to Phelps about some super secret stuff.
There we go. Phelpsy.
Yeah, but yeah, so that men's silver division just insane, and so yeah, you just broke it down from silver, bronze, copper. I'm gonna go over some of the winners though of the tournament. So first, Palma Beta Golden Knights winning it with the ninth seed too, which is like,
Still a good record though. Like you still, it's still
yeah,
a good record. So is it
it,
really,
is it really like a ninth
a
seed?
true nine? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they have, Palma always has, a great teams too. But I'm gonna go. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so the final was Palma versus NCR Average, so two Cali teams, NorCal versus SoCal. Palma won that 3-0. Copper final, or we're gonna go to the bronze final second. Bronze final, Buzz versus Bend Bullets. Both kind of from like the Oregon area, right? Like, isn't that
Yeah,
where like they
yeah. The
originated?
northwest, kind of the northwest of the United States. Yep.
Yeah, Ben Bullets ended up winning 6-5. I'm taking that. And then in the copper division, you got Terrapins White versus Frank's Roosters. I like that name, the Frank's
That
Roosters.
name's sick. I
Dude,
like that name too.
I think we're gonna have to go after this and go see which one's the best name out of all of these, the 43
Okay.
teams.
Yeah, yeah. I'm cool with that.
Frank's Roosters is pretty good.
That's pretty
Terrapins
good.
White though ended up winning 3-0 for that. So shout out to the Terrapins White. Not sure if that's Parker Coleman's team, but
I'm not sure.
he did our little fantasy draft we did for the Taurus teams, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that was the men's silver division. At the same time, sorry, me and Phelps are texting. Give me a second. Um, but yeah, at the same time, you had 14U plat going on too, which I kind of like. I've always said 14U, 16U, that's kind of like the division you see the players really take off and become, men among boys, to be honest, in
Right.
some of those divisions. And you can kind of see who's taking it serious, who's even hit puberty at that age, honestly, just that's,
Yeah. Some of the kids
growing.
are huge and some are small. It's funny to
Yeah.
watch, honestly.
Yeah. And you see some people just take a huge step in their game. Some kids, they just grow too fast and they don't know what to do with their body, which is kind of like, good.
I was saying, keep in mind, like, with Darren running the men's junior team for USA, right? These are the ages that are probably the most important for him to be watching too, right? Because just how they line up with each tournaments every couple years now. So these are the years that you want to be watching. And even like the first day, there were sick highlights that pass, like end to end pass, tip in for a net. Like these kids are nasty already at 14, right? So like you're saying, like it's funny to see, and Darren talked about it on the podcast, like who's going to be the mature one, right? Who's going to be the guy that doesn't just try to go to end to end, who just makes the right play, and that's showing that level of maturity and what you're talking about. And you're definitely going to start seeing that at the 14U division. I think at the 12U, you usually teams have like 3 or 4 standout stars and they kind of like take over these games, sort of. But like at 14U, I feel like it becomes a little more even. 16U, even more even, and then 18U, you have your golds and platinum, so it really evens out once you get to that 18U phase. But we've always talked about too, like 14U is a great kind of like starting point for us to like start looking at guys for the future too. Like just checking out kids, be like, yeah, this kid's disgusting. Like he's gonna
Well,
be
who's going to take it serious or not, too? You're at
right.
that age where
Exactly.
you're kind of like you're entering high school too, eighth grade high school, or you're in high school, like kind of go different ways. Like you're just interested in different things. Like you might get a girlfriend, dude, and
Might be over.
it might be a wrap for you, bro. So kind of like that who's really taking it serious too. I feel like those games are always like just high end talents going on, especially in
Yeah.
that plat division. So he had a team from Taiwan come over, the Taiwan Hornets, which was pretty sick. And they ended up taking the second seed too through the playoffs. They played the number one seed, hyped up Dew, of their first game, ended up losing 3-4, but then went on to win 3 games. So that was pretty, just pretty. Or they went on to win 2 games, tied another
Two
game.
games, yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
my bad.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Listen, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot going on at NARCh. I mean, just look at the
yeah,
team list, right? It's huge.
exactly. But yeah, going into playoffs, you had IRHL Golden Knights played the North Shore Zulu in the quarters, ended up taking that 4-3. And then the other quarters, you had LBU Jets playing Connex Nighthawks, and the Jets ended up winning that 6-2. So semifinals. If you want to read that one, dog.
Yeah, I would say you got hyped up on Dew, which were my personal favorite jerseys I saw because I love Code Red. I think it's the best Mountain Dew, even
Dude,
though
Livewire and Code Red are just they
dude,
don't make
banging.
Livewire
People,
anymore.
people will go Baja Blast. I get it. It is good. Don't get me wrong, but I love that Code Red Mountain Dew. But they weren't able to get past the LBU Jets in the semifinals, and then, as you just mentioned, the Taiwan Hornets lost to the IRHL Golden Knights in the semifinal as well, which obviously leads to the IRHL Golden Knights and the LBU Jets in the championship game. And it looked like it was a tight one, 3-2 game. The Golden Knights took it. And from what I saw in like the little highlight reel Darren posted, it looked like it was back and forth, like trading goal for goal and kind of just like seesaw match and pretty epic finish. The kid had a 6 celly at the end for the UWG. So, Golden Knights taking that one.
Dude, one thing about that 14U division is they have swagger. I don't know if you saw, but all
Oh,
the helmets were just like, yeah,
yeah,
just
with the
all have.
tape.
Dude, okay, am I
Yeah.
just? I gotta know. Am I just getting old? Like, am I a
That's
roller dad that I'm just old?
100% old.
But
All the
what
kids do
is
is
this? Like, the
Myron.
kids love doing that now.
It's almost like, so if you think of like the Michigan football helmets, right? Like how they have
Yeah,
the kind of lines go in the back.
but
So
isn't it just tape? They're just
yeah,
taking.
it's just tape. It's just electrical tape. Like there's kids in my league who have it, and it's like, you got like a flappy coming out the
Yeah,
back of the tape's not sticking. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you guys
but
doing
it's
this?
for like swag. Like they think it's
Yeah,
sick.
I guess
But,
it's a
okay.
swag thing. They got
I
Grizz or
mean,
I
that
don't know.
14U plat team has swagger. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them had the red tape on the buckets too, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
sick. So one thing, huge shout out to Rain Hernandez of RCAH Sports. He also has a new one of RCH Roller. He's out of pretty sure he lives in Mississauga, like Ontario. He
Yeah,
covers a
he's in
lot of the
Ontario.
covers the OHL, but he's always at NARCh doing all the NARCh content. And dude, he doesn't do all the NARCh content, but he does like his own stuff and works for NARCh. But
Yeah.
he got Lionel too.
Yeah.
Lionel, my FMT from France, the GOAT as well too. But he just gets a different like perspective, and his photos are just like I feel like more personalized. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is always sick. So shout out to
He
him. Like,
catches the moment really well, I feel like.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that's probably from like just shooting so much. And same with Lionel and Darren. They all do a good job at again catching the moment because they all shoot hockey so much.
you
Like you
get a
can
mix.
forget what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a mix. You got the Canadian, you got American, you got a France. You got all
Yeah.
different kinds of things
There you
going
go.
on, different views, and it works. You see great content, which is nice. But yeah, the 14U division swagger, just
Yeah.
the
100%.
bucket swagger's sick. Nighthawks, they had some sick jerseys too, and I saw some of the guys having like I think it was like the green tape on their helmets. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's who they were. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that
yeah,
was sick too. That like neon green. These kids love this stuff. It's
yeah.
like I
It's
mean, like I said, I love those hyped up on Dew jerseys, but I think it's cool how the Golden Knights team rocked the like Iron Man jerseys because I always like those because a little bit of
dude.
a Marvel geek, but I like those Iron Man jerseys.
All right, we got to talk about like 30 and over and Golden Knights too. So 30 and
Yeah,
over, like I would say it was a heavy Cali division. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
just because usually if it's around the pro division, then you will see a lot of those players play as well too. But it's just so hard creating that schedule to match it up, to be honest. So, one thing that I wanted to say, and I noticed this with two Palma teams. Did you see the new jerseys they got? The cream color and then
yeah. The
like
cream, they're pretty sick.
dude, are those going to be the pro jerseys or?
I was, what's funny you say that because we talked about in tours the jersey ranking, kind of like what we thought were our favorite jerseys. I was gonna say Palma is kind of due for some new jerseys, so I wonder if they're gonna whip them out. And I feel like NARCh would be the place that they use them. When they went over to check for double IHS, Obviously, they were just rocking their whites and blacks,
Yeah.
but I was wondering, like, because NARCH is their home. Maybe they'll whip some New Jersey out for that, and State Wars to kind of end the summer up. So
Well, don't you remember a couple 2 years ago we went over to the Palma HQ at the what is it, the Patty Nijar Arena?
yeah, there's stuff cooking in that room.
They
We got
cooking and they showed us what the gold
the
helmets
golden helmets.
that
Yeah,
they weren't gonna they were gonna debut. I think at it was later at the tournament, but they debuted that with like the red jerseys and stuff.
yeah.
So they always got something cooking. So I wouldn't be surprised if they either go with the same unis or maybe a little something different.
That's still to that day is like still one of the coolest experiences we got. I think
Oh yeah, hands
we've
down.
ever had. Like
What's
we're
sick is
walking.
they
I
had
was we
sick
walked
goalie
on there.
equipment in there too.
Oh, dude, the extra goalie gear was like all custom, and that's when Bauer started first making those graphic pads, right? So like they had to like kind of print it on graphics, and like we walked in there and we're like, this is like an NHL locker room in this beautiful home, beautiful rink, and they're like programming the scoreboard for like a pickup game. I was like, this is sick. So, but yeah, I see. I hope they have some whip out some new threads. Will be some good talk there for that. But Golden Knights have always going back to the 30s. Like I've played with them, the 130 division. They've always had really good 30s teams, and it's like you said with the pro division, they're able to grab guys like Eton. I think I saw Junior was playing as well, so they were able to get some of those guys who normally sometimes don't play two divisions because it can get
Yeah,
too much with pro. So they were able to get those guys and kind of put their best team out there. And the Buzz, we played against them at Winners. They had a sick team.
dude,
They
Buzz
were
had a
like,
nasty roster. Yeah, I think they
yeah,
had like TK, Skyler.
Nowick. They probably had both Nowick brothers. I think when we played them, they had Oli. So I'm not sure if he played in this one, but they had Oli. So like the Buzz team was really good as well. Like so, and we went into our like winter national game. We're like, this is like a semi. This is like basically a pro team we're playing
Yeah, and
against.
that and
So
in that 30 and over like championship, it was the Buzz versus Palma, and
yeah,
Palma won 3-1. I don't obviously I have no idea. I didn't see the game because they're not. You can watch it on
live barn.
on Live Barn.
Yeah.
I was in the mountains, so apologize. Just kind of chilling out there.
All right.
But yeah, I mean that division's always, you know, always
It,
a good division just because you have a lot of the pro guys playing as well in 30 and over, really getting prepped for pro, to be
yeah,
honest.
really, it's a good skate before that. And that division, not only is it competitive, it's hard. Like it's physical. You're getting a couple extra whacks, you're getting a couple extra bodies, like after the whistles and after, goals and whatever. People take it seriously. Like that 30 and over division is tough, honestly. So those two
Yeah,
teams were the 1 and 2 seeds. So, but all the playoff games, like there's a 6-5 game in there, a 1-0 game in there. So, like, they were all pretty close. So,
yeah. So yeah, and then you look at the other stuff that's going on is 16U Plat starting and 24 and under is D1, like base is correct, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's just
yeah, it's the old D. I guess they just call it 24U, but it used to be called
yeah.
D1 Juggernaut. There was all sorts of names for that division, I guess. But
Yeah, I
that's
think that
pretty.
started tonight, right? Or
Yeah,
on
it started
Sunday.
tonight. Most of the guys I knew from the East Coast like flew out today. They got 2 games in, so I assume it started today at some point.
Yeah, so it's actually all over. The games are done. So we'll go over a couple of them. Skittles, Mercy, LaBeta, Desert Rats 8-0. OC Blades beat LaBeta Mayhem 5-3. What other some standout games? Palma LaBeta Gold Knights beat ATL, which ATL is always a pretty sick team, depending on like that's Miles Harrington and them.
Yeah,
They won
Denny
five.
Dada. Yep,
Yeah, they won 5-2. Unified Black Ice, they played the champion Willers, and some of the champion Willers they'll be playing pro as well too.
yep.
Black Ice won
4-1.
4-1. You got a tight game. New Zealand's out here, so you got New
Yeah,
Zealand
it's
out
sick.
here. Yeah, they played Connex Outcast. Outcast won that 2-1.
And and I think that Rhinos team aren't they usually the Colombians? The
That's the
Colombian team.
yep,
So
yep.
another international team, Pure Maple from Canada,
I
obviously. So
could is the Desert Rats from? I'm pretty sure the Desert Rats are from like UK, or I could be high and they're probably from like somewhere else.
yeah, I'm not sure about the Desert Rats. It would be a pretty interesting
Uh,
name for
the,
a team.
I think they're from Utah. I'm an idiot. St. George, Utah, it says.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't
go.
know. I don't know, but that's what I just looked up on Instagram, so who knows? But yes, and then obviously got Roadrunners in there.
Yep.
They 8-0 Beta Mayhem.
Yeah, that's and then you got the OC Blade. We always talk about the OC Blades. You got Connex Outcast. They'll usually have a pretty decent team in there as well. The Raiders are a standard in the California division as well, or in California roller, I guess I should say. So I mean, you can see like the top end. There's 6 teams 2-0, 2 teams 1-1, and the rest are all 0-2. So I assume that there's probably some sort of like playoff breakdown for that too, because there's 14 teams in the division. So
Yeah,
uh,
so it'll break down into the platinum and then the
and
gold
gold. Yeah,
playoffs. So what will happen is platinum, it's going to be the looks like it's just the one top 4 teams will make it. And right now you got 6 teams that are sitting 2-0, So you
it's
got
gonna be a battle.
Skittles. Yeah, and I mean the teams you got are Skittles, Black Ice, 2 of Roadrunners, Pure Maple, Lebeda or Lebeda, Palma Lebeda Golden Knights, 2 are OC Blades. So those 6 teams, like, they can all play platinum. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They all got the roster to play as well too. So, looking into tomorrow, a lot of those games are going to be huge because you
yeah,
got
pretty meaningful.
Skittles and Pure Maple play each other. So there's going to be a an L on one of those, or if they tie, and then you got Palma and Tour OC Blades as well playing each other. So
Yeah,
and then, dude, Pure Maple
and
got
Black
tough.
Ice, they play Black Ice too.
Yeah, Pure Maple's got
So
a tough day
Pure
tomorrow.
Maple's got a tough Monday there.
Yeah,
Wake up Monday morning. Hello, you better be ready to play.
yeah.
And and like with all these teams, right? It always works out that way. No matter what tournament you're in, there's like if you're doing a gold and platinum or gold, silver, bronze, whatever it is, there's always a team who winds up kind of on that bubble and gets bumped down, and the other team gets bumped up. But like you said, all these teams obviously very capable of playing in that top tier. But but even I guarantee, like you look at a team like the Connex Outcast and the Rhinos, like they're both 1-1. So who they play tomorrow is going to be huge, right? Because that means that they're for seeding, they can maybe jump one of those teams that's in that top 4 right now. So it's gonna be tight for sure. And I always think 24U is a great division just to watch because it's got a lot of guys who play pro, but they play a little more careless and like up and down the rink. You know what I
They're
mean?
dancing out there.
They're younger. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
dancing. So just like we were talking about the 14U, it's an exciting division to watch. Like this is another exciting division to watch.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously any plat division, any high end level is going to be sick. But yeah, you see the guys that play in pro, like for example, like the Skittles team. A lot of those Skittles guys are pro,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why they're 2-0, 15 goals for, 2 against, pretty much, mercies. So there's a reason, like, yeah, they can work on things, or like you said, like you can get careless and just dance and do it kind of, I mean, not careless, but it's a little more, fun dance and roller.
Yeah, it's just a little more high flying hockey, right? Kind of that like Hail
High
Mary
flying hockey, I love it.
and hockey. It sounds like a brand actually. We should copyright that. But I know like the Skittles, like since we were talking about them, they're sitting at the top here. I know that they're taking this whole summer super seriously. Like they had like a kind of weekend where a bunch of guys came in and they practiced and trained and did scrimmages and battle drills and team bonding stuff. So they're obviously taking this junior division just as serious as they're going to be taking a pro division. I think that's going to help them too, coming into pro, having like anywhere from 4 to 6, games before they hop into pro with majority of their team.
Yeah, and
So
you got a little break too. It's not like,
yeah, a couple day break and jump right back into it Thursday. So
yeah, absolutely.
good for them.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do a NARCh Pro podcast, pod whatever preview. That's gonna be live Tuesday, so tomorrow. You guys got 2 pods this week. We're gonna do interviews with 2 different players, and with that, like I said, it's gonna be live. We're really gonna break down some like the rosters. Me and Ant were excited. We're like, dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
FOMO, missing out on NARCh, not being there, but we'll do our best always to cover it. So kind of gonna get into. We're not going to get into the rosters, but we're going to just kind of touch on some. That's what we're going to say. Okay. We're going to give you guys a little teaser for Tuesday. Okay. One roster I want to talk about that I kind of noticed looking at is you're going to have 2 Palma teams is Palma Golden Knights, obviously Palma. Then you have the Golden Knights Academy, which a lot of these guys are kind of like from around the world. You got, we got Charles Baldwin, which Chucky Slick, he's obviously from here, but he's been tearing up Spain. He's playing with them. Jake Holding.
Joaquin.
Yeah, Walk.
Joaquin.
Yeah, you got Jake Holding. I'm pretty sure he plays with from UK, I want to say. Keenan Simpson, he's from Nambia or
Yeah,
Nambia.
Namibia. Namibia.
Namibia.
Yeah.
And then you got
Got it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then you got Nick Edelbrick. I'm pretty sure he played for the Lopes. And is he from he's from California. He's from San Jose.
Okay, yeah, I was say they're NorCal. I knew he was California kid, but I don't know where in California. But
Yeah, Lucas Dietrich, your boy from
yeah, I'm
Switzerland.
just gonna say him too, Dietrich. Yep,
Yeah, and then got Lane Hartwell. He's from Canada. Lars Rato Fasol, isn't he from Brazil? He's the goal of the Brazil.
Brazilian goalie. Yep.
Yeah, so you got a kind of like a really a mixed team from all over. Very interesting to see how they'll do. Just just playing in the pro division. You've never played together, so you don't really you're not gonna have time to like
And
gym.
it's interesting, and it's funny because Charles Baldwin, Chucky Slick, like he normally doesn't play summers. That's his off time. He
Yeah.
plays all year, so it's cool that he's playing, back in California, and playing in this event. So he's always fun to watch. He's a bullet out there, and he tears it up overseas. So it's gonna be interesting to see him make his way back onto American soil there.
Yeah, I mean he's always fun to watch too, and especially I mean he's fast, he's playing year round as well too. So he's always on his wheels. It's like not he's not. Then I want to talk about one roster too, another one. OC Blades, just because our boy Dwyer's going out there to play with the OC Blades, I know. Get a little wheels under him before Palma. So OC Blades, one thing that I thought was funny is they got Austin Ross on their team. It's Austin Koss. It's just
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, hold on. I was like, who's Austin Ross?
uh
Yeah,
but
little typo.
you got Darren Nowick, Greg Hughes, Hayden Maxwell's as always, Paul Butasov.
Yeah,
He was an RDN free agent.
yeah, he was a free agent pickup.
Yeah, yeah,
He,
whenever he got
he's played
picked
with
up.
that rink rat team, whatever you want to call it. He's played with them, a bunch in the past. He's a good young player. He hustles his balls off. Another good little player. Skylar Horror, we talk about him, all the time. He's been around the game for so long, but still so good, like and smart. And he's like the heartbeat of that team, like just from watching him at Winners, like he gets that team going. He's like kind of like a coach while playing too. Like he, helps out Dan probably with kind of that side of things. And Darren Nowick, like that dude is still so good. He's so
Yeah,
fast. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Ridiculous. So
So yeah, no, that'll be a fun team to watch. And it'll be with 14 teams, it's gonna be a big division. So you got two
okay.
Canadian teams as well too. So you got Casper Vancouver Blazers, and then you also got the Pure Maple,
April. Yep.
and then you got Team FMT, which some US guys
Yep.
I know
Some
are
French
playing on that
guys as
team.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're coming over here earlier to play because they're gonna be playing at Palma Pro with Team France. But they do have a couple guys on there. Your boy Chris Caldwell's on that team.
And Cold Easy's in there. They got David Baldwin on there too. So
Yeah, and
his
then
brother,
it's
Robbie
kind of
Baldwin.
funny that the Baldwin brother, like, why don't they just play together?
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting. I wonder why, but yeah, and especially because Golden both rosters are a little bit light. They're like at like 9 to 10 guys, right? So
Yeah,
it's interesting. But yeah, that's definitely a mixed bag of guys, just because it looks like you have a lot of the French players, and then you have a couple of East Coast guys with Robbie, Caldy, and Trevor Mack as well. He's another East Coast guy from Virginia. So gonna be interesting. I'm sure that they're gonna have some pretty sick jerseys. I feel like the FMT jerseys are usually pretty sick.
if they're the same ones that were at the Grenoble Cup, Unify makes them, dude. They look
Yeah,
gross. They just
yeah, they
pure
usually have
roller
sick
jerseys.
jerseys. And just so everyone knows, FMT is giving away mad stickers all weekend. So make sure you
Yeah,
grab a sticker from him. He's got some new ones that he had at NARCH Winners, and they were sick. So I
bro.
actually got one on my little dongle right here.
There you
I
go.
can't see it on the camera, but you know, represent FMT.
Yeah, yeah. And then I guess last little roster we'll talk about, and we're going to talk about this on Tuesday night as well too,
Yeah.
is we'll go with the surprise roster, which I was looking at earlier, is going to be the Hopa NCI Phoenix, which is your NorCal guys.
Yeah.
One thing with this is got Andre Gasso, so played at or BC,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and just got
Yeah.
drafted. So
He's good.
yeah, we'll see. I wonder if he does play, right? Like, you know, you see
Yeah,
guys on the rosters always just never know. But they also got Brian Gibb, big fan of Gibb, and they got a
love
lot of
it.
the kind of the I guess you could say outcasts.
And some of the outcasts, the Tuies, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got Tui
Tuies.
on there, Paul Linder.
Hmm.
And I know, just because there's a couple guys that I played with last year with Iron Ionella and Matt Burke, that I know Berkey played with them last year. This is Matt Burke, not Nate Burke, who we interviewed with Tours, his brother Matt, who also plays on Envious. He played with them last year. I got him hooked up. This is before even the free agent thing. We're just being agents. We got them all hooked up, and they really did like put this roster together. Like, so it's pretty cool that they had a bunch of just guys from the East Coast, guys from the West Coast working together to kind of, put all the pieces in place. So they should be pretty strong, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna
And
be interesting.
then their goalie. So when I was younger, I played with the Quakes for we
Yes,
won.
that's
Yeah,
who
we
he played
won.
for. I couldn't remember who he played for.
So Matt Pamiti, nasty. But I played
Yeah,
the Quakes with like Daniel Inouye, Casey Escarcega,
yeah,
Brian Gibb. We won junior platinum, winter nationals, and I think we won like 18 plats, no big deal.
not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal. Winter Nats hero. But Matt Pamiti was a player, I mean, a goalie I'd love to go watch because I'd go out there tournaments in NorCal and we'd always just like get there day before, and he was
Right.
just nasty, just so sick. He's huge too. And he would rock these old Reeboks, like these yellow and blue Reeboks. I think he played ice for like San Jose State, but he's a
Okay.
nasty goalie. He's an older guy, so I don't know, like obviously now he's a big guy too, like he's tall and he was agile at the time too. So hopefully, obviously see if he's still sick, but it'd be awesome to see him play as well too.
Yeah, I knew he was a NorCal guy. I thought he played on that Oakland Good Life team too. Maybe he did
Yeah,
like
I'm
career
pretty
down in
sure.
Oakland.
I think
I think he played for them too, from what I remember. But who's the? I don't know. This is like totally off topic. I remember they had a really nasty goalie for that Oakland Good Life team though. He was like 6'4", like he was a monster, and I can't remember his name.
probably
But
Matt Pamiti.
yeah, he's a big guy, right? It has
Yeah,
to
he's
be.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, so it probably was him, but they were always a good team too. Like I remember in AIHL and stuff, they were always like a pretty strong team. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, like it's funny because there's so many teams. You're obviously going to see so many different players scattered all over the place of like throwback names. Like we talked about Noack, right? You talked about Gibb. Like all these guys are kind of making their way back in the pro scene. So it's cool to see,
Yeah.
with
And
this many
then
teams.
he also got, I'm just gonna go out there and say it. If you're still listening, you're a true roller dad, you're a true fan. So I don't know how true this is.
All right. I'm listening.
I don't know how true this is. And you know what? We're for the players, by the players. And we always get some intel. We always get some random intel. People sending us in stuff, a couple players told us over the weekend they got a lot security there. So just be careful. Don't park in the fire lanes. Like, I think as any like running a tournament or anything, that's the last thing you want to have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
So I heard they do got a lot of security there, but they do got a beer garden. So obviously
Yeah,
no
that was pretty
drinking.
sick.
Yeah, that looks awesome. The secret info, okay? Because some of the people were thinking I got you right here. I heard a certain player is going to be there. Very, very, very famous guy. I don't know how true. And I heard this because somebody told me they asked for extra security during a certain day.
Okay.
And I think we know we can like probably see who it is if it's going to be during the pro. There's a lot of like North Shore Zulu teams playing from
Yeah.
Vancouver. I'm trying to say some information without saying it.
We
I
received the
possibly
DM. We received the DM.
we received the DM that said CB might be there, so I don't know how true that is or not. But if he is, you heard it here first. Roller Dad News. We broke the
Breaking
news.
news, dropping bombs.
Yeah, but yeah, I heard in the DM that Connor Bedard might make an appearance. I don't know in what aspect though.
That'd be sick if he did, and huge for the game if he did.
Yeah,
And with like we talked about
dude, we
having
got to do it like I know
yeah.
we talked to Darren about this. Like doing like a like after dark just because of like so much random stuff you like just like you go through in the tournament, right? That
Yeah,
no
and stuff you don't catch, stuff that's not on camera,
Yeah. Dude, we
like
get
all the
so
funny
many
stuff.
random DMs about stuff like that. Like you're like, is this true? This not,
Ima-
like
Imagine having like a hotline people can call in anonymously and just like, tell stories on. Like that would have to be like a Patreon type of thing.
oh, absolutely. But yeah, so if you're still listening, again, thank you. This was a little impromptu morning talk. Get you guys excited for some coffee or excited for some Narch while you're
While you're
drinking
drinking
some
coffee. There
coffee.
you go. It's all right. You get excited for coffee too. Maybe
Yeah,
this is your coffee.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
exactly. And then one last thing I want to shout out. Got another sponsor too, Back Nine Bullies. They're doing, they're a golf. Back Nine Bullies is a golf company. They are hockey guys though. Angel Rios. Shout out to Angel Rios. He's him and his brother run the company, but they got some sick golf
Oh,
swagger,
dude.
golf apparel and stuff. Their hats, top of the line hats.
Yes.
Complete gas.
Yeah,
And they're
that's
doing 20% off for all the RDN members. RDN 20 for 20% off. It is super sick stuff. They got shirts. They also got some nice little I wouldn't say they're like the 9-inch seam shorts.
yeah.
So
Golf. They've
yeah,
got
they got a lot of
polos.
cool stuff. Check it
Yeah.
out.
And I know when I sent it out to a bunch of my boys, they were all pumped because like we had the Broad Street bullies, right? And you got the backyard or back nine bullies. Like it kind
Yeah,
of it's something
little
that like
mix.
it's home with us too. So it's pretty cool. I know a bunch of the guys were like, "Oh, I'm buying this, I'm buying that." So people buy up RDN 20 at checkout. Boom, hit it.
Yeah. No, 100%. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with a the live pod.